What's up, you guys? This is Off Topic Games with a deck profile for you guys. This one is on Riviere, the only Bermuda deck I own, and definitely my favorite because I really like the Grade 2. I have like 100 copies of it, which is crazy. For our starter, we run Bermuda Idol Cadet Riviere, Bermuda Triangle Cadet Riviere, I'm sorry. It's the ride chain for this deck. So if you don't ride the Grade 1, you can call this the Vanguard Circle. And then when you ride the Grade 1, search top 7 for the Grade 2 or the Grade 3 Riviere specifically. Add to your hand, shuffle your deck. Yeah. So for our Grade 1s, we run obviously the 4 Mermaid Idol Riviere, the Grade 1 for ride chain. If you have this card in the soul, it's an AK continuously, which is nice. Especially in this meta because you can then tend to pass the Vanguard and then you don't get like rushed too much. But yeah. And then when a Super Idol Riviere rides this card, if you have the Grade 0 in your soul, you draw a card. So that's the ride chain draw card if you have the previous copy in the soul. So for Courage, I don't know how I feel about this card. It's definitely good. It's a ride chain fixer. So act Vanguard skill. Choose a Grade 0, the Grade 0 specifically. Put it into your soul. Search your deck for up to 1 Mermaid Idol Riviere or Super Idol Riviere. Reveal it. Put it into your hand and shuffle your deck, and then if the card put in your hand was Mermaid Idol Riviere, you can stand this. You can write the card as stand. So really random, but this isn't once per turn. So if you decide to be dumb and like write more of this, you can literally like grab the Grade 2 first, put in soul, call your second copy, and write the Grade 1 as stand. If you want to, it's really dumb, but if you want to, it's pretty interesting. I kind of just noticed that. So I don't know normally if it's better to write this or this if you don't have the Grade 2. Because this is search top 7, so you might just not get it. This is guaranteed, but you don't get the Grade 1, so you don't get the ride chain draw card off of it, or the +1. So, yeah, let us know if you have like a specific reasoning for why you like one over the other for riding. Because one of the Grade 2s, this card specifically, needs the Grade 2 in the soul. So it's very weak. I'm not really sure which one is better. I generally opt to go for the ride chain because, you know, ride chain and greed, right? So yeah, for this. 2 Ica, what it does is, when it's placed in the Vanguard Circle, if you have a Grade 2 or greater card with Riviere in its card name on the Vanguard Circle, you may put a card into your soul to draw a card. So it can fix your ride chain a little, because if you're on the Grade 2 and you can put the Grade 1 in the soul, if you have like this card for example, or if you're missing the Grade 2, you can obviously just put the Grade 2 in the soul. And then your stride works off of how many Rivieres in your soul. So you can just put more in with Ica, and it's pretty nice. And if you have like draw triggers in your hand, you can put them into your soul, draw cards to hope for more aggressive, or fixing your hand a bit. So that's nice as well. Just as a note, you want to run Choice. You want to ride Choice. So if you're not striding into Legendary Idol Riviere, you can't use this card's effect, because Choice is not a Riviere, which is really sad. 4 Kukuris, because PGs are good, and then you need to unflip because the deck can counterblast a lot. So yeah, for Grade 2s, we run 4 Super Idol Riviere. Definitely my favorite card of this clan, or deck. One is an SP, because I picked it up, but I didn't pull an SP back, which is sad. Anyways, best card in the game, right? So, if you have the Grade 1 in your soul, it gets plus 1,000 continuously, so it's 10k. That has an effect. When the Grade 3 rides over this card, you can draw a card. And you don't want to ride the Grade 3 anyways, but that's what its effect is. It's definitely the best card in the game, guys. Great card. But you definitely run it, like, regardless, because it's great. It's actually very important. So run 4 Spica, debatably the second best Grade 2 in the game, in the deck. Or in the game, maybe, but this card is really good, and it really helps for your like aggressive turns, because it basically makes it so you can get like a minimum 4 attacks per turn. There's a play that I'll show you later with 2 different strides, or even 3, that goes with Spica where you attack like multiple times. It's great. You definitely need Spica during your game. 3 Maylene. Maylene is really good, or pretty good. When it attacks your Vanguard, if you have Super Idol Riviere in your Vanguard Circle or in your soul, until the end of battle, this unit gets plus 2,000, and then when it hits a Vanguard, when this unit attack hits, counters Soul Charge 1 and unflip damage, so that's pretty good. It can definitely help. For grade 3s, we run 4 choices what you want to ride. Where's the 4th one? There's definitely 4. There we go. So 4 choice. What it does is it legions with the other grade 3, and it's a restander for Counterblast 3 and Discard 3 if you're in Legion. And then if you ride over the grade 2, you can search your deck for grade 3, which is basically striding, so you can get a free stride fodder. So that's why you don't run stride fodders, because it's basically free. So yeah, for this, 4 of the top Idol Riviere. If you have the grade 2 in your soul, this unit gets plus 1000 continuously. And then Counterblast 2, Persona Blast, so discard itself. When it hits a Vanguard, you can pay the cost to choose up to 3 of your units with Bermuda's card name, or Bermuda Triangle, sorry. Choose 3 of your Bermuda Triangle cards, rear guards, they get plus 5000 until the end turn. So, if you're in Legion, if you have the grade 2 in your soul, this swings for 22, because it gets plus 1000. And then, if you want, you can, like, if it hits, you can Persona Blast for Counterblast 2, and you can restand for Counterblast 3, so if you have 5 Counterblasts open, you can do both if you want to. That's nice. Because they're both on your Vanguard circle, and they both work. So for triggers, we run 5 draw, 1 vanilla, this card is definitely the nicest, and 4 Margot Clone, if sometimes it might matter. 7 crit, they're all vanilla, and 4 heal Fighters Collection 1, because we do run the G-Guard. And you know, discard a grade 1 or lower to draw a card is kind of nice. So this is the generic, like, triggers. I was thinking about running stands, because this thing gives power, so it's kind of nice. What they do is, these 2 would be the ones that we're running. One is, one is Kruk, and one is Lauren. So what Lauren does is Soul Blast 1, discard this card. When this unit is returned from your hand from rear guard circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your rear guards, return it to your hand, choose up to 1 card from hand, call it to rear guard circle. So yeah, it's not terrible. And then Kruk's probably the better one. Has the harmony effect. GB1, if this unit's harmony, this unit gets, put this card to the top of your deck. At the end of the battle that this unit boosted, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your other rear guards, return it to your hand, choose up to 1 of your cards from your hand, call it to your deck, shuffle your deck. So basically bounce, call, and put this card to your deck and shuffle. Not bad, but we're currently not running stands, still testing it, we'll see how it goes. So for Riviere, or for our strides, we're running 4 legendary Idol Riviere. 1 is SP, and it looks so nice. What it does is, once per turn, Counterblast 1, choose itself from the G zone, turn it face up. Choose the same number of rear guards as the number of Rivieres in their card names in the soul. Each of them get plus 5000, and then if you have 3 or more face up cards in the G zone, draw a card, and this card gets plus 10,000 and plus 1 crit. So this is for stridable, but you don't get the plus 10,000 crit and draw. So normally I do stride this first unless I G-guarded, and then I can go into like Olivia first. But it's pretty good because you can, like, there's some plays that you can do with this deck. Here, I'll show you. So let's say you got the ride chain. This involves Spica, obviously. You have Maylene, because Maylene's pretty good. Where is Spica? Spica's here. 2 grade 1s. The one to the left has to be a 7k though, so this one has to be a 7k. It's my left. Anyways, so what you do is you have 3, Counterblast 1, give this unit plus 5, this unit plus 5, this unit plus 5. So you swing this first because you don't run stands. Hit 1 trigger, you put it here. Swing 21. Swing Spica for 21. Bounce this, call this back. This gets plus 3, so it's a 14 when it swings the Vanguard. So 26, which is great. So not bad, pretty good for first stride if you have like this hand or whatever. This is replaceable with the grade 3 because it's also 11. The only problem is it doesn't have the unflip and soul charge if it hits. So yeah, generally this is what you probably would want to do. Different things that you can do with this deck is if you like drive check 2 Spikas, you can like swing 21, swing, bounce, grab Spica, swing 21, bounce, call this, swing 11. which is better for 2 Counterblast. But yeah. So after the 4 legendary Idol Rivieres, we are running 4 Olivias, which you can do the same play with, except less power, but you can get more speakers off. I will again show you the combo a bit later because it makes more sense. But what Olivia does is, it's a basic GB2 effect, Counterblast 1, choose yourself, turn it face up, choose up to 5 of your rear guards. If all the chosen cards have different names, you return them to your hand, and then if 3 or more units were returned by this effect, choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to rearguard circle in different rows, and this unit gets +1 crit until the end of the battle. So very good card, definitely great. You should definitely run 4. 1 Ange, it's SP because I pulled it, it's so nice. GB2, Counterblast 2, choose anything, turn it face up. This is an error, it says itself, but you don't have to turn itself up, it's anything. Choose any number of circles, in besides the Vanguard, return them to your hand, so you can choose your opponent's and yours, which is pretty good. This unit gets +5,000 until the end turn for each card that was returned to your hand. If the number of cards returned is 5 or more, draw a card. If the number of cards returned to your hand is 7 or more, this card gets +1 drive check until the end of turn. So a good thing about this card is that you choose the circle. So if your opponent locks your cards, you can choose the circles, you bounce them back, and they get unlocked basically. So because you choose the circle, you bounce that whatever is there back to your hand, and it's no longer locked because it's in your hand, which is great. So it's basically an unlocker stride. It's an axe skill, and then you can also bounce things like Broken Heart or other cards like Grand Blue's Negro Lazy or the Gear Cat. Bounce them back so they can't do defensive stuff on your turn, so it's pretty good. And it's also +1 drive, and you draw a card, and it's pretty big. It's normally really big because you want to bounce 7. So 7 times 5 is 35, so it swings for like 45, 46, which is crazy. So yeah, pretty good card. It's kind of costly though, Counterblast 2, but yeah. 1 GB8 because the GB8 is really good. Discard a card. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted, or attack the Vanguard, sorry. You may pay the cost. If you do, return all the rear guards to your hand, choose up to 5 of your rear guards, call the separate rear guard circles, and then gets +5,000 to the end of the turn. So really, really good card. Definitely great. One Sabreeze because you have GB1 cards and you want to run Sabreeze. You don't need to though. I'm running 5 G-Guards, so before I was trying out 1 less G-Guard, 1 less Sabreeze, and like 2 Lapria, because Lapria doesn't necessarily need a Cho-Cho heart, but it's up to you. Then we run 5 G-Guards, 2 Citron. When you call a card, when you G-Guard this card, you can call a card. It has to be 1 or greater, and then it gets +10,000 shield, so it's pretty good. Better than, like, Screw, I guess. 2 +5k cards. Nasha, when you reveal the same grade, it gets +5,000. And then 1 Sandy. Flip anything when you G-Guard GB1. If you do, this unit gets +5,000 for every 2 cards in your hand. And then you can Counterblast 1 to make you get +5,000 more shield. I definitely want 2, but I don't have 2. But you definitely would run 2 if you could. It's definitely a good card. And if I had it, I'd definitely like replace this or whatever. So quick second combo or third combo that you can do with this deck is if you are on, let's say, Olivia, you have a minimum of 1 Spica. If you have 2, it's insane. But it costs a lot of Counterblast. Same thing. Where you, let's say you have 2 Spica because you're crazy. You can bounce Maylene. You need a different grade 1 though. That's actually very important. Here we go. So swing Maylene. And then swing Spica. Counterblast 1. Bounce. Call Spica. Spica swings. Counterblast 1. Bounce. Call Maylene. Maylene swings. Actually, Maylene doesn't have to swing here, but because you can put triggers on it. But it doesn't really matter. If you want, you can just swing. Counterblast Olivia. Bounce 3. Don't bounce Maylene. recall, Spica, drive check, swing, bounce Maylene, call Maylene. So that's something that you can do with like 2 Spicas, or just 1. You don't necessarily need 2, but 2 makes it so much better. So yeah, basically the same thing that you can do with the GB8. Especially if you have 2 Spicas. It definitely costs more counterblast though, because you're bouncing everything. Where you like swing Maylene, swing Spica, counterblast 1, bounce to Spica, swing, counterblast 1 for Spica, call Maylene, Maylene swings, swing Priscilla, GB8 bounce everything, call up to 5, so just recall the board, except for the Vanguard booster, and then do the same thing, like rinse and repeat. So 4 counterblast if you have 2 Spicas, but it's pretty good in terms of attacks, because that's 3, so it's like 7 for Bermudas, and they all get +5 when you call the 5, so it's great. When you bounce it, the 5 goes away, but it's still like a really strong push turn. So that's why Spica's just a great card, and like almost every Bermuda deck wants to run it. It's just a great card. But yeah, that's the basic deck profile. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can leave them down in the comment section down below. And as always, our social media, for the links, they're in the description down below. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you all later.